For over 12 years, the world watched something sad happen. A famous Hollywood dad and his daughter grew apart. No one talked about it much. But now, the truth is finally out, and it's more painful than anyone thought. Suri Nile used to be called Suri Cruz. She grew up with fame all around her, even though she never wanted it. She was born famous, raised in secret, and separated from her dad by things she couldn't control as a kid. Now she's 19 years old. She's finally speaking up, not with words, but with her choices. And her silent message has shocked everyone who believed in the perfect family image they saw on TV. This is the real story of a girl who could only watch her dad from far away, and a dad who watched his daughter slowly disappear from his life. When it all started, the story began like a movie. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes met in 2005. Everyone was watching them. Katie was 26 and just became famous from a TV show called Dawson's Creek. She was young, beautiful, and talented. Tom was 43 and already a huge star. Movies like Top Gun and Mission Impossible made him one of the biggest names in Hollywood. For Katie, Tom wasn't just a celebrity. When she was younger, she told a magazine that her dream was to marry Tom Cruise. It sounded like a silly kid's wish. No one thought it would really happen. But it did. Tom saw Katie and told people around him, "I'm going to marry her." Within weeks, they fell in love fast. Photos of them holding hands in Rome were everywhere. They looked so happy, like teenagers in love. The whole world watched Tom change. He used to be quiet and serious, but now he was acting crazy in love. He even jumped on Oprah Winfrey's couch on TV and shouted, "I'm in love." Some people thought it was romantic. Others thought it was weird, but everyone was watching. On April 18, 2006, their daughter Suri was born. Tom called it the happiest day of his life. He talked about her all the time. He called her his miracle. But even that miracle was surrounded by something mysterious: the Church of Scientology. A strange world. Katie grew up Catholic in a small town. Suddenly, she was thrown into a world she didn't understand. Her pregnancy and birth followed Scientology rules. One rule was silent birth, which meant no one could talk in the delivery room. Tom even bought his own ultrasound machine to check on the baby himself. To people outside, this seemed controlling, but to them it was love. Their wedding in November 2006 was huge. It happened at a beautiful castle in Italy and cost over $3 million. Katie wore a gorgeous dress. Tom looked so proud. Famous people like Jennifer Lopez and Will Smith were there. But Katie's parents looked worried. They were Catholic and didn't trust Scientology. They were scared for their daughter. And they were right to be scared. The fairy tale was about to fall apart. Cracks in the perfect picture. By 2007, Tom and Katie looked perfect to the world. Red carpets, private jets, magazine covers, they had it all. But behind the scenes, things were wrong. Katie's friends noticed she was never alone. Whenever she went out, people from Tom's circle were always with her. They watched her closely, like they were keeping track of everything she did. One time, a journalist had dinner with them. When fans came over, Katie smiled and said, "Oh, we don't really go out much." It sounded normal, but people who knew about Scientology understood it meant something deeper. Tom was still confident and full of energy. He loved Scientology and defended it against anyone who criticized it. To him, it wasn't just a religion, it was the truth. But for Katie, Scientology became a cage she couldn't escape. Her parents grew more worried. They were Catholic and didn't trust the church. They visited less and less because they didn't know how to help their daughter. Katie's friends said she was changing. She seemed distant, like a robot. She kept saying the same things over and over. Tom is wonderful. He's amazing. It sounded fake. Meanwhile, Tom's two older kids from his marriage to Nicole Kidman, Bella and Connor, were already deep into Scientology. Tom probably thought Suri would follow them. But Katie didn't want that. Slowly, she started pulling away. By 2010, rumors said she felt trapped. She stopped going to church events. She reconnected with old friends. She spent more time in New York without Tom. Behind the scenes, she was planning something big. The escape. On June 29, 2012, the world was stunned. Katie Holmes filed for divorce from Tom Cruise. It happened just days before his 50th birthday. This wasn't just a breakup. It was a rescue. Tom was shocked. "I didn't see it coming," he said later. "Life can knock you down like that." But Katie had been planning for months. She changed her phone, hired new security, and replaced people she thought were spies. Her dad, who was a lawyer, helped her. They filed the divorce in New York instead of California because the laws were better for Katie there. Tom found out about the divorce the same way everyone else did, from the news. He was in Iceland filming a movie. For a man who controlled everything, this was the biggest loss ever. Katie wanted full custody of Suri, who was only 6 years old. She wanted control over her daughter's education, health, and religion. She wasn't afraid of Tom. She was afraid of the church. Former Scientology members said Katie was scared Suri might be forced into a program for kids when she got older. Katie couldn't let that happen. The divorce ended fast, in just 11 days. Tom agreed to pay $400,000 a year for Suri's expenses, but Katie didn't care about the money. She wanted freedom. The day after the divorce, Katie and Suri left Los Angeles. They moved to New York City. Photos showed them walking hand in hand on the streets. No bodyguards, no cameras, no pressure. Katie looked tired but relieved. She smiled a real smile for the first time in years. For Suri, freedom came with silence. Her dad, who once carried her on red carpets and called her his miracle, was gone. Not because of a fight, just gone. And in that silence, a new life began. The lost years. After the divorce, Tom and Suri's world split completely. In 2013, during a court case, Tom was asked if Katie left him to protect Suri from Scientology. He got upset and called the question offensive. But then he quietly admitted it was true. That was the last time Tom talked about it publicly. Reports said that after the divorce, Tom only saw Suri once. After that, nothing. No photos, no visits, no reunions. Tom buried himself in work. New Mission Impossible movies, Top Gun, Maverick, crazy stunts that made fans cheer. Every time he jumped off a building or hung from a plane, people were amazed. But somewhere else, his daughter was growing up without him. Katie focused on giving Suri a normal life. She enrolled her in a private school in Manhattan. They went to parks, cafes, and dance classes. Friends said Suri was smart, kind, and more mature than other kids her age. Katie protected her from the spotlight. No red carpets, no interviews, no Hollywood chaos. As Suri became a teenager, she looked more like her mom. Same eyes, same smile, same strong personality. But whenever someone mentioned her dad, she went quiet. Tom never mentioned her either. He still paid for her school and medical bills. But for over 12 years, there wasn't a single photo of them together. The man who once had the world's attention couldn't find his way back to his daughter. A new name, a new life. By 2021, Suri was a confident young woman. She went to LaGuardia High School in New York, a famous school for art and acting. She studied theater, music, and filmmaking. But she made one big decision. In her school musical, she used the name Suri Nile, her mom's middle name, not Suri Cruz. It wasn't just a name change. It was her saying, I choose who I am. When she graduated in June 2024, Tom wasn't there. He was in London at a Taylor Swift concert. Katie was in New York, crying tears of joy as she watched her daughter graduate. That summer, Suri went to Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh to study fashion. Katie helped her move into her dorm, carrying boxes like any normal mom. By 2025, Suri visited her mom's movie set. She was calm, confident, and strong. Dressed simply, she looked like someone who had found peace. Most people didn't recognize her, but the message was clear. She was no longer Tom Cruise's daughter. She was Suri Nile, and she was free. The pain that remains. In October 2025, Suri was seen sitting on a doorstep in New York with her head in her hands. She looked tired and sad. Katie showed up, sat next to her, and comforted her. Then they went to get pastries together. To most people, it looked like a normal mom and daughter moment. But to those who knew their story, it was a reminder of how much they've leaned on each other. Now at 19, Suri is studying fashion, making music, and figuring out who she is. Her relationship with her dad is completely gone. Tom still pays for her school and health care, but they haven't spoken or been seen together in over 12 years. Tom's career is still huge. He's planning projects with NASA and SpaceX. He wants to film movies in space. He's reached the top of Hollywood and now wants to go beyond Earth itself. But the distance between him and his daughter, that might never close. People close to the family say Katie has let go of the anger. She focuses on gratitude and pride. She calls Suri an extraordinary young woman and says her greatest joy is seeing her daughter's strength. Even so, Suri still carries the weight of a story that isn't just hers. It's about love, control, and the hidden cost of fame. For 19 years, the world has watched this family like a movie. A dad who gave us unforgettable films, and a daughter who quietly chose to step out of his shadow. Now, as Suri Nile builds her own life, one question remains. Will she ever let her dad back in? Or will the silence last forever? What do you think? Can time heal the hurt caused by years of silence? Or is the distance too big to fix? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss stories that show the hidden side of fame.